Okay, y'all, I'm back. I'm sorry. I had a wardrobe malfunction. Like, come on. So, as I had introduced to you guys in the topic before, abuse. Tough conversation to have. Definitely needs to be had, but it is not something that what is at present in single parent homes or brown homes in general, that's not brought to the forefront. Also, lack of conversation and silence is not okay. I grew up in like such a non-communicated way. It's ridiculous. Like, literally, it's sad to be told, oh, you can come to me about anything. You can talk to me about anything. You can come to me. You can talk to me. You can talk to me. Sounds good, yeah, but when you go to speak, are you heard? When you go to ask, are your questions answered? Like, one thing that is very toxic as a parent that we have to take into counterfacts as parents and as leaders of this dunya is that children are impressionable from every single moment, down to the rolling of the eyes, the everything. I would like to share one traumatic moment of mine specifically. I will never forget this. It's probably, I'm working through this. Let me say that. Probably one of the reasons why I began to have such an ill distillment towards authority figures, if you may have. I remember being younger, I had a homework assignment, which we often do, to find these words in the dictionary or whatever the case may be. And at the time, I had came from Boys and Girls Club, and I was at the Boys and Girls Club, but for whatever reason, at that time, maybe funding, but they didn't have certain things that I needed to complete my homework, so I would have to finish certain portions of my homework at home. But my parent didn't view this as that. You know, being a single parent and them being tired, my parent will often think that maybe, oh, perhaps you were lollygagging or playing around. That's why you didn't finish your homework or whatever. So on this particular day, I proceed to attempt to explain to my parent that, hey, we didn't have these certain Webster Merriam dictionaries, because, you know, the school started getting real specific growing up, which caused a lot of beatings. I think that they should know that. Y'all getting specific with these TI-84 calculators and these certain Merriam-Webster dictionaries and all of that. Yeah, it got the average black girl in trouble. I'm going to let y'all know. Some of us didn't have it, okay? And our parents was pissed because y'all had them working overtime. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. Sidebar. So what happened was, on this lovely day, I asked my parent, hey, you know, I have to look up these words in the dictionary, and I need to find this word in the dictionary and then write it 13 times, or however many times they told you to write it on the page, then flip it over and write 3 separate sentences. I will never forget this, right? So I tells the parent, and then me going to the type of school that I went to, and me being the kind of learner that I am, and just different things that I have learned just growing up and from experience, finding out that I'm a kinesthetic learner, finding out that I am a better listener than I am just different things about my learning style. That as a parent and parenting that you pay attention to or could take into consideration or whatever the case may be. But long story short, short story midget, I asked my parent for help to find this word, and the parent goes, oh, I found it. And literally, if I could show you what the parent did. Oh, I found it. It's right here. And I get excited. I'm like, yes, this is my last part of my homework. And then I'm like, okay, let me see. And the parent goes and slams the dictionary shut. And then gives me the dictionary and say, you found it. Harsh. I was in 2nd grade, maybe 3rd. And that moment told me that in life, if I want to get anywhere, which was completely wrong, but that action told me that in life, if you want to get anywhere, if you want to do anything, if you want to progress, you got to do it yourself. And then you got to do it the hard way, and no one's going to help you. But me being in 2nd grade, I couldn't conceptualize this metaphor. I didn't even as I grew older, I still never understood why my parent just slammed the dictionary in my face if they found the word. I was like, dang, well, At least tell me how to find it myself. How did you find the word? What were the 3 letters that you used? What's the technique? Something. Don't just slam something in my face and tell me it's in there. That's very toxic. That's very traumatizing is what it is. Now that I'm older and I have the vocabulary and the emotional intellect to describe what was actually going on. So there was a lot of moments like that in my childhood growing up that were really, really unnecessarily harsh and unnecessarily rude, which put it to me plain and made me very strong, and but it ultimately damaged me. Ultimately, I became a child that didn't ask for help, who grew up to be an adult that didn't ask for help, that wasted years and time and months because it was instilled in me. You don't ask nobody for nothing. You figure it out on your own, which is wrong. Now, as a business owner and, a musician and a mother myself and a plethora of other things, I now know not only was that wrong, harsh, and rude and very, very, very detrimental to my development, I also learned that it was because that parent was doing what was done to them. So instead of breaking the mold or breaking the cycle, they just continued it. So now as a parent, what do? I change it for myself. When my child needs help with something, I say, hey, let me show you. Yeah, I still want to give him the idea that, if you want something, try it yourself and then come help and ask for me. But offset, that's very discouraging. Let me put it that way. To learn in a way where it is scarring and discouraging, unfortunately, as adults, that carries into our dating life. It carries into our friendships. It carries into our professionalism. It carries into our judgment, our perception of people, just different things. And I'm here to shine light on that. I'm here to shine light on these very negative and toxic parenting skills that have been blatantly destroying our families for generations on generation because no one is stopping to take the hold or to break the mold themselves. So I'm here to be that chain. And we're also, through my experience in realizing that to a certain extent, unmerited beating. If your child, just the aspect of believing a child or labeling a child with such harsh names like liar, thief, this, that, and the third. All of these things that you label a child with, because children do know right from wrong at a certain age, yes. But if you count it into effect, what is going on or what the situation is, or just be a human being, I'm going to go in with this palette, you will soon learn that it's not, even if you read your Quran or Bible, our first thing is not evil. The first thing is not to just wake up and be a bad kid. You have to be taught correctly. I gotta hurry up so I can wrap this up. So, basically, that was one. And then, so I kind of grew up thinking that no one would ever help me. Because I had this idea if that person wouldn't help me and that person literally, was in the aid or in the help of my way and pathway into this dunya and literally... You know what I'm saying? How could I expect my teacher to help me? How can I expect welfare to help me? How can I expect the police to help me? So it just kind of gave me this sense of hopelessness in 2nd grade. I felt hopeless in 2nd grade. It's ridiculous. I felt stress in 2nd grade. I experienced loneliness. I experienced real life big emotions that other children were not experiencing at my age. So then it comes to this sense of, well, who do you talk to? Oh, well, actually, I didn't find out that this wasn't even normal until I was well into my teens. So you got to realize that children are very, very impressionable and they can easily be confused. Now, may that message that may have been given me, maybe I received it wrong as a 2nd grader. Maybe I didn't know that that parent was trying to metaphorically teach me that, hey, you're more intelligent enough you're more than capable. How about let's try this? Acire, you're so capable. You're so brilliant and so smart. Let's look for the word together. I know you can find this word. Mommy found it. It's in here. We can find it together. Or you know what? How about just different ways to approach the wording of the situation that I have learned, through teaching and parenting over the course of years, because I used to teach science and math at a school in Southwest Philadelphia. a number of years ago. And then after that, I had segued to teaching English to second and third graders. And I always took a sense of pride in the way that I wouldn't even say control, but the way that I had a gauge over my classroom. None of my children were disrespectful. I didn't have to hit these children. I didn't put them in the corners, nothing. I spoke to them. But yeah, that's the second part. Speaking to your children in the way that you speak to them, how they listen, not speaking the way that you speak to your child. So we're going to end it here. We're on the eyes still, guys. Let's see. I was always a strong flower child. Yeah. India Ivory always got me through. I was guidance to show me which way to go. Yes. Her, Joe Scott. But nowadays, I feel like I don't have that choice. Hey. Anybody else got a song that got them through? I've been flying blind. I need you to come and be my guide. Come be my guide. Where the eyes carry me back home. I cannot remember the way. Will their eyes carry me back home? Lord, I surrender today. Yes, and that's just a song that got me through. And I'll be continuing this if you guys like it. And I'll end with the songs that got me through. As for now, don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, share, all that. You know what I'm saying? Do what you gotta do. Follow me on Instagram at Acire Love _ ACIRELOVE_ that way. AO646 on Snapchat. Boom. And then the final video, I'm gonna finish touching this up and get dressed. So yeah. See you later, sun rays. Shine, 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 shine.